return on investment because I'll pay you for a service. How do you drive that, utilize that influence to drive my business forward? How do you choose? You say you do business with Zaren and
I think for 12 years.
So how do you drive return on investment on them? Because it's one thing to be plastered on a billboard with that, the brand behind you. What is in it for us as business owners when we sign you up and pay you the amounts of money that we pay you? How do you ensure that I get value for the money that I pay?
I think for me, for example, with Hapik, it was a relationship that started way back when I was on Kenyan TV. I was on a TV show for 8 years. So I'd already, I'm very young. I'd already built trust with the brands and also with the community, which is very, very important. And I think that's consistency. When a business gives you money as an influencer, as a content creator, you have this responsibility. You might not, maybe the objective is engagement. You need to understand the business, what the objective is. Do they want to convert? Do they want just engagement? Or do they want I'm in a position to advise a business and tell them if it's a new business, maybe you're looking what your hopes, like, oh, Kate has this 1 million followers. If I get her, I'm going to convert maybe 10%. It's not a reality because it's repetitive. Influencer market is repetitive for you to get your ROI. So I'm in a position to advise the brand their rights, maybe even platforms to be on, how often they need to advertise, and the kind of content they need to create. It's not just about cutting a check and moving. I work with smaller brands as well. I have so many styling shops, and I'm very, very involved with them because it's so satisfying seeing them grow. The same way I treat the big brands, the same way I work with the big brands and growing brands. I give them reports. For example, if they come and they say, we didn't sell, but I got a number of followers, I'm like, I'm going to do a free post for it and see how it does. So it's a relationship that I'm continuously and consciously creating with the businesses that I'm working with.
Okay, does anybody have anything?
Okay, so I would say this. Social media and influencer marketing is an ever-changing space. It's not how it was in 2020 or in 2015 when Nigeria just kind of got into it. Before, an influencer would just post a video about a brand, and the next thing, the brand will go from 1,000 followers to 10,000 in a day. It doesn't work that way anymore. Now, the brands, and people are very finicky when it comes to ads. When they see an ad, they're they just jump and pass. Now you have to trick them with proper storytelling, with hooks, to get them to actually watch your content and see the ad. So we have to constantly evolve how we represent brands. And one way that has to or works now is the brands have to partner with the influencers long term. One video or one engagement doesn't cut it anymore. Whether it's for sales, whether it's for engagement, it doesn't cut it. I've been a Premier Cool ambassador for the last 4 years. And Premier Cool sales, at least they tell me, their sales skyrocketed, I think the second year after we started. And we started getting reports. I would work on this. I don't think I'm relatable to the average, to the bus conductor. But the bus conductor will see me on the street and say, you, my guy, Premier Cool, I use your soap. So I get feedback from the streets. So the brands have to partner, you have to pick your influencer or your ambassador very carefully and work over time and grow together. That is when you see proper ROI.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's one of the most important things that brands forget. Ensure that you pick your person and go long term with them. And people now see the person and also are just familiar with the brand all the time. So does that answer the question? Thank you. Okay, we have a question there.
Yeah, hi guys, what's up? So obviously I wanted to just come back to the topic about the burnout. In my situation, I'm like on a long-term that I'm speaking about right now, so I'm on long-term deals with maybe like 6-7 brands, and obviously we have deliverables monthly, so I feel like for me, it starts to feel like I never stop. So I never like go on holiday, I never stop working, because it's like you're delivering maybe 2 videos for a brand every single month, and you've got 6, 7 of those brands. Obviously, it's a massive blessing to be representing these brands like on a long-term deal. But then I feel like I don't create in bulk. So like I have friends like some of you guys, maybe not you guys specifically, but friends that they create in bulk. So maybe they've shot their content months before. But with a lot of companies that I'm with, like for example, Bet Nigeria, for example, it's a lot of betting. It's like football, so it's like in the moment of like, okay, cool, Arsenal play Man U. I deliver better when I'm creating at that moment in time. So I don't really create my content in bulk. So I'm never going on holiday. So I feel like I can't be burnt out. I leave it and chill. And then also, in the most humble way possible, when you get to the point where these people are paying you like presenting this company and they put a lot of money in your bank account. So how dare you say, well, for this month I can't work. So yeah, I just want to know how you guys feel about that since we're like in the same space.
I've heard of it, yeah. An answer.
I think it still boils down to the same thing that we spoke earlier. For you to not burn out, you have to figure out some sort of balance. You can't have everything in life. The brand, obviously, at this point, is one of your priorities. So it means that if there are other things on your priority, something has to shift. It could be, I'm cutting down time on this. I'm cutting down time on this so that I can focus more on this. Because if you have a singular focus, it sort of helps you deliver because you know, okay, this is my bread and butter, this is, just as you mentioned, this brand is paying me a lot of money, and so because of that, I have to focus on that. So it means that you even have to protect your own ability to deliver. The reason a lot of people burn out is because they don't protect their ability to deliver. They keep thinking, it's content creating, so I can't do everything. And in the process of doing everything, you'll find out that because every day you wake up with, let's say, 89% or 100%, everything that takes your attention throughout that day is depleting from your battery and your ability to even deliver. So burnout is generally just you looking inward and asking yourself, how many things are on my table? How many things are important? What can I get off this table in order to make more time for what matters?
Right.
And I think at this level where brands are investing so much money, it means you're bringing value, you're selling them your community. It gets to a point, I have this egotistical view that I will always be bigger than any brand I represent. So that means I can negotiate deliverables. If you tell me to deliver 12 videos in a month, I will politely decline and tell you I'll give you more value if I do at least 4 and give you quality. I think you are in a space where you can negotiate for yourself when it comes to deliverables without compromising the money, your back. I think you are on that level, and I think you should do it.
So to add to what you said, delegate. I think was it you that delegates. Part of the reason that you have a burnout is because you're doing too many things at once. You're thinking about too many things at once. You're thinking about doing too many things. Somebody has to do some thinking for you. They see, you're representing 6 to 7 brands and you have 2 to 4 deliverables a month or 10 deliverables for them. You need to be able to anticipate your needs before you get there. So that you can focus on being the talent in front of the camera, not worrying about the back end so much because somebody else has that covered. Somebody else that you're paying is worrying about that. So you just do your thing in front of the camera or whatever else you're doing and leave somebody else to do some thinking for you. And that would prolong your energy actually.
Yeah, I would just also add to what you're saying. One is very specifically, I know my manager is here somewhere, but management, you pay them 20% or 15 or 10%. There's a reason why you're giving them that money. I don't write briefs anymore, interpret briefs or write scripts. The management is supposed to be a company. It's not a single person's business. So they're supposed to employ people in your management team, whether it be script writers or copywriters, who would then go ahead and write that script, because it's easier to look at something that is written and say, okay, I'm now going to work on it than to be writing it afresh totally. That's one. 2 is, when it comes to, maybe also what you want to do is that if 6, 7 brands can afford you, you may need to increase your money, how much you're charging. Because for 7 brands to be able to pay you long term, it means that maybe what you're doing could also be that you're accepting small bits, and then it comes cumulative together. So you will afford as many deliverables as you would like. So that's another important thing to do.
Quality over quantity.
Yes, quality over. And again, once you reach a certain level, you're also able to, say certain things that that, okay, I can't do so. And it's okay to leave money on the table sometimes.
And the same applies to business brands. Burnout is also real in business brands. Please, if you can for your business, delegate as well. Get a videographer, get a script writer. You don't have to do it all by yourself because it's real on both ends.
One more question now. Oh, his hand has been up throughout. We didn't come to this side at all. So I mean, I have to just take question. Okay, Ariel, and then go there, please.
Okay, good afternoon. So I wrote this question down. So I wanted to find out, how do you stay relevant, especially when platforms and the algorithm changes as well?
I didn't read
The mention of the algorithm, you just get tired.
Right.
You're putting in so much work for what? 500 likes when you have 2.5 million followers can be discouraging. And I think I have chosen to completely ignore. Thank God for Instagram. You're able to see how many people are actually seeing your content versus the likes that you get. But I think that shouldn't deter you from creating, because you can still, when you look at your insights, you can still see the people who are engaging. So I think the algorithm shouldn't deter you to continue creating. You still have your community. They still see your work. So I think, for me, I ignore it and just give quality, consistency. Yeah.
I'd say that we've been saying content creation is a job, and all our approach to content creation still has to be like a job. And I don't know any business that is going to stay long in business if it doesn't focus on data. Now, one of the data you need is your back-end data. Your back-end data is very important. If you wake me any day, I can tell you the population of people following on Twitter, on Instagram, on TikTok. I can tell you their age range. I can tell you their gender, their location, and that sort of affects how we create content. Because, for example, on Twitter, which is the most violent platform ever, right? One of the reasons it's even more violent is because the majority of the people following Aproko on Twitter is 18 to 20 years. That's 7% male, right? So I'm going to have a different reaction on that platform than Facebook, for instance, where the majority of the people following are between 25 to 34 and 35 to 44, and a majority female. So you can see that these two different platforms have two different demographics. And because the demographics are different, you're going to be fighting a constant battle if you think the algorithm is against you. No, it has never changed. The thing is, you need to find out what your audience is interested in. Because the beautiful thing about satisfying the needs of your audience is that your audience now become your advocates. So your audience go about telling other people about your content and dragging their friends and followers to your page. For example, there are people who have made it their life's work to always post Aproko Doctor's content on their WhatsApp status. We don't ask them to do it, but they are disturbing their friends, they're disturbing their families because we consistently solve their problems. So leave the algorithm. The algorithm will constantly change because the platforms are there to make money also. It's focused on your audience, find out what they really want, listen to them, and you consistently stay in business.
Okay. You asked the question about follower count and success, right? Good. How many followers do I have on Instagram?
3.2 million.
How many followers?
2.5
Million. How many followers? How many followers? Instagram. And you guys are very successful. Right? I haven't hit 1 million. I've been creating content since 2017 and I have not hit 1 million. And
That doesn't mean you're not successful.
brands since I started. So your follower count is not, I don't think it's a measure of success. There are some people today that are 100k followers, 100k followers, and they know what they want to do. And they're doing it very well. They're not trying to be what they're not. They're staying true to themselves and they're building a community from these small people that are following them. And those people are constantly engaging, high engagement. And if a brand can see that and say, okay, if I put my brand here, out of these 200,000 people, I guarantee that 20,000 people will see this, as opposed to maybe a 2.5 billion